Guys, what's up? It's Mr. Robinson. I wanted to take some time to kind of go over the two-step equations that we were doing in class today to kind of make sure that everybody's got it, or if you needed a little extra support to see it again, that you have the opportunity to do so. So I'm just going to go over these 6 problems real quick, walking you through each one with the language I like to use so you can help hear the equation or hear the process in your head a little bit better. But before I start, let's review that last week we were talking about one-step equations, and a one-step equation was basically a variable, so a letter of some sorts, and having something happen to it. So there's only one thing happening to it. So like x plus 7 equals 10 would be a one-step equation because you're only adding 7 to x. And 3x equals 27 would also be a one-step equation because you're multiplying 3 times x. So just one thing's happening, that's what makes it a one-step equation. However, this week we're expanding to two-step equations, and the key thing with two-step equations is there is more than one or two operations being done to my variable. So like for example, I'm going to write this one a little bit bigger so you guys can see it better. This is r over 4 minus 12 equals negative 5. Okay? If that's the case, what's happening to it is, if I highlight this, where's my highlighter? Right there. So if I highlight, this is my variable here. I'm doing this to it, which is dividing by 4, and I'm also doing that to it, which is minusing 12. Okay, so to solve for that, if I came over here to my do-undo chart, oops, I don't want to do it with that. It's my undo button. Boom. Okay, if I switch back to my pen, okay, so if I make my do-undo chart over here, okay, if I look at that, there's 2 operations. There's subtraction of 12 and a division of 4. So I'm going to write those 2 things over here to track what's happening. Minus 12, divide by 4. And to undo those, I know I'm going to have to add by 12 and then multiply by 4. Okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to make my pen just a little bit smaller. I feel like it's aggressively large. Good. Okay? So to do that, I'm just going to break it down and follow those steps. Okay? So if I have minus 12, to get rid of it, I need to add 12. So I'm going to cross that off, and I'm going to add 12 to both sides. Plus 12, plus 12. That's 0, so it's gone, and I'm left with r over 4 equals negative 5 plus 12 is going to put me at positive 7. Okay, so I'd be at r divided by 4 equals 7. Now all I have left to being done to my r is it's being divided by 4. So to fix that or get rid of it, I need to multiply both sides by 4. So I'm going to get rid of that step, and I'm going to go times 4. Those are going to cancel. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm left with r all by itself, which is my goal. And it's going to be equal to 7 times 4, which is 28. And I'd be done. Okay? So I identify the 2 operations that's happening, a subtraction in this case, division, and then I make my chart to track what I need to do. I'm going to add 12, I'm going to times by 4. Okay, let's look at another example, just slide it over. Okay, here we have a couple things happening. I'll rewrite it down below. 7k minus 14 equals 42. Okay. I'm going to make myself a new do-undo chart, okay? And what I'm looking at here is the 2 operations that are happening to it again are, switch here, I'm going to be minusing by 14, and I'm going to be multiplying by 7, okay? So I'm just going to write those in on my do-undo chart. I'm minus 14. So the opposite or the inverse of negative 14 or minus 14 is add 14. And then I have multiply by 7. So to undo that, I need to do its opposite, which is divide by 7. Okay, so those are going to be my steps to beat this one up. So to do it, I'm going to just follow what I need to do. I'm minus 14, so to get rid of that, I have to add 14. This goes away because negative 14 plus 14 is 0, which leaves me 7k down here. And then when I take 42 plus 14, I'm going to get 56. So I'm left now with 56. I did this portion of my chart so I can cross it off. And what I'm left with is a times 7, so I need to divide both sides by 7. Divide both by 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, so now k is by itself. And 56 divided by 7 is 8. And that'd be my answer. Okay? That would be my answer. So let's move over to the next one real quick. Let me do this way so it's a little bit easier. Okay, here I'm going to rewrite this as negative 12 equals 24 plus 4b. Okay, so I'm looking at negative 12 equals 24 plus 4b. Okay, what I need to do is make a do-undo chart. If I look at what's happening, do it and get my highlighter out. Okay, I'm adding 24 and I'm multiplying by 4. Those are the two operations that are happening. So I'm going to write those in. Okay, I'm going to go plus 24. So I know I need the minus 24. And then I'm multiplying by 4. So I know I'm going to have to divide by 4. So if those are going to be my steps, I'm just going to follow them through. So I'm going to go minus 24, minus 24. That cancels out, so I'm left with my 4b, and I have negative 12 minus 24, which is going to be negative 36. And cross that step off. And then I have my times 4 divided by 4. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to divide this by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, so now I have b by itself. And negative 36 divided by 4 is a negative 9. And I'd be done with that problem. Ready to move on. Okay, again, it's just identifying what's happening and then doing the inverse operations of those so you can get rid of them. So let's look at another one real quick. Okay, I'm going to write this one up over here. So this is 3g minus 5 equals 17. So if I'm going to identify what's happening to 3g minus 5 equals 17, well, again, I'm going to be multiplying by 3, and this is a minus 5. So those are going to be my two operations that I'm going to tee up over here. Okay, we're going to have our minus 5 plus 5 times 3. So I know I'm going to have to undo that by dividing by 3. So there's my chart to track my work. Okay, I'm going to start with my plus 5. Plus 5. Plus 5. This is going to cancel. And now I'm left with 3g over here. 17 plus 5 is 22. Okay. Now from here, all I have left to do, because I've already done that, is I just need to do my division. So I'm going to go divide by 3. Divide by 3. That cancels out. And if I put that in my calculator, it doesn't come out. It comes out as 7.333333 or 7 1/3. So I'm just going to leave it in the fractional form because this year in math, it's better to leave it in the fractional form in this case. So if you want to, because you don't like seeing improper fractions as 22/3, you could always simplify it like this. That's your decision. But I prefer, since we're going to be graphing lots this year, that you leave it as that so it's easier for us to graph it. Okay? Said I was going to do all 6 of these, so I'm going to. So let's look at this one here, which says 9 is equal to 4a plus 13. So if I'm identifying my pieces, again, I'm multiplying by 4, I'm adding by 13. Those are what's going to go inside of my chart. So I have plus 13 minus 13 times 4 divided by 4. That's what I'm looking to do. Okay, so I'm just going to do it. So here's my plus 13, so I'm going to get rid of it by minusing 13. That goes away, and I'm left with 4a equals 9 minus 13 is a negative 4. Okay, then from here, I just need to divide by 4, divide by 4, okay? And I get, this cancels out to leave me a all by itself, and negative 4 divided by 4, that's a negative divided by a positive, so it's going to be a negative 1. And that'd be my answer. I've done both my steps, and I'm out of the problem. Okay? So I'm going to do this last one real quick, and then, like I said, you guys should be ready to attack some of these on your own. So here, the last and final one says 13 equals 5m minus 2. Okay? So if I have 13 equals 5m minus 2, if I look at what's happening is I'm subtracting by 2, so I know I'm going to have to add by 2. And here I'm multiplying by 5, so I'm going to have to divide by 5. Okay? And I'm just going to do that in that order. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, plus 2, plus 2. That becomes 0, leaving 5m by itself. 13 plus 2 is 15. I'm going to divide now both sides. And I did that. I'm going to divide now both sides by 5. That cancels. So now I have m by itself, and 15 divided by 5 works out to 3. And I'm done with that. And the nice thing about these two sets of equations is they always get very rhythmic. Once you start getting good at identifying the operations and what you're going to have to do to undo it, you're pretty much good to go. So that's your tutorial on quick ways to do two-step equations. It's also what we're going over in class today. So hopefully you guys will be ready to attack this on your own and work through some of your homework. Have a good one.